Hello and welcome to this new tutorial series Tableau Prep. So this is a Tableau Prep introduction and we will going to look at how you can get the Tableau install, download it and finally install it, and then we can go through its interface at a very high level. So just to tell you a little about or give you a glimpse about the Tableau Prep, this is how generally a Tableau Prep looks like. So Tableau Prep is, I will explain about the Tableau Prep, but in this slide I just wanted to give that about a workflow which usually you will create within a Tableau Prep for the preparation of the data. As the name itself suggests, that prep is nothing but data preparation. So just to give you a glimpse, this is how a Tableau Prep workflow or the data cleaning, data aggregation, data massaging steps usually looks like within the actual software. And as you can see, they are so intuitive that all the steps that we have, like all orders, then you have added the returns, then you have cleaned the data. We will see all of those different things in the subsequent tutorials and see how we can create a flow like these and then use it for the data cleaning and preparation perspective. And before that, some quick highlights of Tableau Prep. So one is Tableau Prep was created for data preparation. So by now you must have got this idea, as I have shown you the workflow as well, that Tableau Prep or the Tableau preparation tool has been created for the data preparation. Now data preparation is, as you know, is one of the important steps for the data visualization. So as I have mentioned over here, it was one of the biggest thing which was missing in the Tableau data visualization tool that we have been using it from so many years. And the other tools like Alteryx, etc. have been used in the past. And with the Tableau Prep, Tableau as a company is trying to complete the ecosystem where they already have the visualization tool, but in the back end where the tab preparation was missing, though you could do things like joining the tables, etc. if they are from the same database, etc., or something like creating calculated field or pivoting the table, and also some of the common steps you could do in the Tableau, but it was not a full-fledged data preparation tool. And it was suggested that even by the Tableau that most of the heavy lifting of the Tableau data preparation should be done outside of the Tableau. So that's where Tableau Prep really comes into the picture and helps you do the data preparation. So after that, using Tableau Prep is very simple, like I shown you in the previous slide, that a simple flow where, like a Tableau tool, you can simply drag and drop the various components to create a workflow for data cleaning, aggregation, joining, etc. to give it finally to the visualization tool. And how you can give it? Well, you can publish the data directly to the server from this tool, or create a local extract to use it in the data visualization tool. So this is just a quick theory around the Tableau Prep, just to give you a high level, a 10,000 feet view about the Tableau Prep if you have never heard about this or never used this tool. Okay, so operations that you can do with Tableau Prep. So by now you can understand that it's all about Tableau preparation and all, data preparation and all within Tableau Prep. So what are all these steps? So one is you can take the data from multiple sources, which is sort of a restriction when it comes to the Tableau. Then there is a comprehensive list of things that you can do to clean the data. As you know, data cleaning is a massive task where you need to perform multiple operations to bring the data into a structure or clean the data so that you can use it in the visualization. And after that, you have data transformation. So things like whether you need to aggregate the data, deaggregate the data, and things like that. After that, if you need to create new calculation, you could do this in Tableau itself. Here also you have the flexibility where you can create new calculation, and it's again very intuitive and very straightforward, and a lot of help which is already available. And finally, you have fill up the missing data that you can do, and not only that, but much more things that you can do with the Tableau Prep. So let's go ahead and see Tableau Prep So here, as you can see in the Google, I have just searched the Tableau Prep, and within the Tableau, once I search it, you will see the link which will take me directly to the Tableau Prep builder, and here you have the link to try it for free. Also, there are some video tutorials to see it in action, which is directly from the Tableau, and even I recommend that you see that. And then down there, just a quick summary of what I've already told you at a very high level, that it's a self-service data preparation. You have the preparation builder. This is sort of an image which I already shown you, but I did not show you this one because this is a little bit more complex, and which we will see in subsequent tutorials. You can see the offering and pricing information directly from there. What is the latest offering and the pricing, and then some information about immediate results by telling it how fast it is. Work smarter, work faster. Then connect data, all the different data sources. You can click the link over here to see all the data sources through which you can or with which you can connect. And then stay in the flow. You can clearly rename this tab, preview it in Tableau desktop, or remove. All of these options we will see, but what it is trying to tell you is how you can see all of the information in a flow. After that, Tableau Prep Conductor, it's another tool or another part of the component where you can schedule, monitor, and administer your data flows. Down there, schedule your flows, monitor your flows across the servers, things like that, just to make the administrator's life easy. So those are the different things which even we were going to see in the tutorials that I will going to publish in the future. But just to get it, you can click over here, try it for free. It will give you the new link where you can enter the business email, and then say start free trial, and then you can get it. So once you have got it, so for example, I already downloaded it. If I go into my downloads, and if I see the Tableau over here, so Tableau Prep is something which I have already downloaded, and installation, as you can see, is pretty straightforward like any Windows installation. So what I can do is come over here and click on the Tableau Prep. So once I click on the Tableau Prep, you will see the splash window which is coming, and it will take a couple of seconds to finally show you the entire interface, and that's what I want to show you. So initially it will ask you the information for registration. For now I will just cancel this, and over here you have a structure of a window where on the left hand side you have the information for connections to connect it from the different data sources. In the middle you have the recent flows. Sample flows has been given for Superstore and World Indicators, like you have it in the Tableau itself, the World Indicator and Superstore visualization. The same for the same samples, the flows are over here which you can view and try to understand. On the right hand side you have some training material like getting started, visual dictionary, video tutorial, cleaning step, Tableau Prep, some instructor led classes information, and down there you have some blogs and resources and the forums, and finally update to 2019.4.2. So all of this information is given to us on the first screen, as you can see, where you can look at the sample, you can get the training information, you can get the blog information. Once you become more and more experienced, you will start using it. And up there you have a very standard menu like file, edit, flow, server, and help. And from the help you can get to know what Tableau Prep builder you are using. I'm using 2019.3.1, which if you download these days the Tableau desktop, with that it gives you the option to download it directly, and I suggest that you download them together so that you don't have to download it as a separate entity. If you want to evaluate it later in the stage, you can download it later as well, up to you how you want to see that. But if we want to see the sample Superstore flow, so I had already tried to open it, so I'll just click again, and it will show us the flow. Left hand side, it will show the connections like order central, order west, return reason, quota, and order east. All of these are over here as an first step. Then you have some more step. Then as and when we are moving ahead, the steps have been added, roll up sales, quota plus orders, and then finally created the output. To run the entire flow, you have the option over here. To refresh the flow, refresh the data, you have the option over here. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. So with this, all of these functionality which is given over here, which we will see it in action in the future videos, we will going to look at step by step and then see this relatively complex workflow, how we can create that and use it in the action. So that's about it, a very first introductory video, and I look forward to meet you in the future video tutorial. So stay tuned for that, and we will go step by step for these video tutorials. So let me know what are the things that you would like to see in this tutorial. However, I have my standard structure which I will show you, but based on your comments, I will try to modify based on your learning needs. So that's about it, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic. Hello there, and welcome to the next video. And in this video, I will going to show you how you can take the first step in the Tableau Prep builder. So the very first step in Tableau Prep builder is to import the data. And to import the data, once you open the Tableau Prep like this, you need to come over here on this screen. As you can see, generally it's hidden, but if you click over here, it will show you the connections. Within the connections, if you click on this add connection icon, you will see a list of the various connection types which is available. So for example, the very popular like the Microsoft Access, PDF, Excel, statistical file, Tableau extract or text file is highlighted on top. And then those which are customized, for example, the server, Tableau server, Amazon Athena, which is related to AWS, Amazon Aurora and Amazon EMR, MapR Hadoop, all of those are down there. And finally, if there are JDBC or ODBC connection to your custom database that you need to build, you can build it using these. And as and when it is progressing, the new versions are coming out, more and more features and connection types are coming out. So if there is nothing, no connection in terms of what database you use or what backend dataset you use, if it is not available, just check out the Tableau site and for the prep builder, and you will be able to see when the connection or the inbuilt connection which is out of the box is coming here for you. So for now, what we will do is I'll just click on the text file to create the step. And here what I have is very simple 4 different files. So what I'll do is I'll just take the orders file, order south file, and as I double clicked over there, 2 things happen. One is the connection is reflected over here and its related table. Along with that, the very first input step has been created over here. So this is the step which has been created along with the plus sign. As you know, I just clicked on this and it has the further steps that we can add, but that will be later. So the very first thing is input step, and as we are here, you will see that a lot of things have happened down here and here. So this is basically 2 different screens. The very first screen over here where I'm dragging my mouse left and right is basically the flow screen, where you will create the flow for cleaning and massaging the data. And down there you have the input step, where you have a lot of information related to the file that you have imported or the number of files that you will import in future. It will have that information. So text setting is basically shows you the information about the connection. So this is the dataset file that you have imported. This is a text file or the CSV file. You can edit this if you want to choose a different file. And then first line contain header, and because of this, all of this field name information is coming. So you need to make sure if your first if your first line within the data set contains header, make sure that it is enabled. Otherwise, you can click on generate field names automatically, but it will not generate something pretty interesting, but the F1, F2, F3, F4, which you can change it. So I will just go back and click on the first line contains header. Then by default, it will going to select the field separator, text qualifier, character set. If your data set is having a special character set, then you can choose it from here. For now, we are good because we are not using anything special. And finally, the local English United States, with which I'm pretty good. So once you are here, once you are reviewed these settings, you have a couple of other settings which I'll show you in a minute. And then on the right side is basically the screen where you can review the dataset columns along with some sample values which are part of each of the columns. So for example, sales is having numerical values, so that's fine. Region is basically South, so that's good. Even state is indicating the Louisiana, so that's fine. Ship mode, second class, all of that information you can review. And suppose if you don't want any of the column, let's say for example, you know that you are creating this dashboard for South region, so you can uncheck this, and with this the column will not come in the front end or in the processed data, which you will use it then in the Tableau, and this way you will have only those columns which are required and which actually results into the good performance. So for now I will just check that. And then the second column, as you can see, indicates the type of column that it is, whether it's numerical, whether it is character, whether it is calendar. You can see that this is all this information which you can, if you can click, you can also change it based on your requirements. Say for example, if it has incorrectly identified the date as numeric or the number, then you can change it to either date or date and time based on the column values that you have. Afterwards, you have the column as field name and original field name. So field name is something you can change it in the next step, which I will show you maybe in the next video. Whereas it compares with the original field name. So field name is something which is in the Tableau Prep builder based on any customization that you are doing. So for example, order ID, so you may want to remove the space and have order underscore ID instead of order space ID. So original field name will be remain as order ID, whereas order underscore ID is something you can change, which I'll show you later how you can do that. And then if any changes that we have done or any sample values, so very first change that we can do is probably, let's say in the ship mode, for example, we only want first class. So what you can do is we have the option over here to filter the value. So we can click on this and we can say ship. As I enter SHI, it has showed me two values. One is ship date, another is ship mode. So what I'll do is select the ship mode and say equals to first class. So I hope everything will be fine. And if I click on apply and save, the first class information is coming and the change that we applied is over here. And once I hover over this filter, it shows that ship mode equals to first class. If I want, I can right click, either edit or remove. So for now, I'll go ahead and remove this. So this is just to show you an action of filter which you can take with the help of the filter values option. And if you remember, this field or this box should be, you should be able to correlate it with the calculated field box of the Tableau, and because of that it will be pretty easy and pretty familiar for you to make the calculations over here for the filters. So once we are done, we can click on apply and save. So for now I'll just close this. Then what we have is basically the multiple files option. So right now we are having only the single table, but if we want multiple table, we can have the wildcard union option. And within this folder order south, it is looking at the different files that is part of the folder. So right now it has 2015 is something we already had. 2016, 17 and 18. So if we say just the orders star, so in this case it will going to show all, or let's say if we have something like ABC star, then it would not show anything. I just press the tab after ABC star. So if I say orders star, it will show you all the different files, and then you can click on apply, and all the orders file will be added over here for 2015, 16, 17 and 18. So as you can see, the button has been changed to applied. So once we are done with this, we can come over here on the data sample. So what happened with the data sample, as it is mentioned over here as well, that for large data sets, you can improve performance by working with a subset of your data. Use these settings to select the data to include in the flow. So what that essentially means is, let's say you have 10 million rows, or let's say you have 1 billion rows. Let's take that extreme example. And in this 1 billion row, if you have to process it again and again based on the flow that you are creating, first of all, the data import will going to take a huge time to import all of the data inside the Tableau. And because of that, what you can do is you can just sample the rows. So for example, you can say that you want only this is 1 million rows. So fixed number of rows less than equals to 1 million. So 1 million or 100,000 or 10 million or 10,000, it simply depends on you how you want to select it. So you can have the two options like a sampling method and random sample. Though random sample is good, but clearly it is written that more thorough, but it may impact performance. So I think quick select should be good, because fixed number of rows, like let's say 1 million, if you have 1 billion rows, 1 million is a good representation, or you can have 10 million, which is again a very good representation. But if you are not sure, you can also have random sample and evaluate whether it is really impacting your performance. So for now, I will just keep it default option. And finally, changes. Any changes that we have applied to the data set related to clean and transform, which I will show you in the next videos about how you can do that. So this way you can basically import all of the files which are there in the folder. Another option is, if I just show you over here, another option is what I can do is I have other files, let's say order central, east and west. Apart from south, I have these files. So what I can do, I can simply drag also over here, and this will become, as you can see, it has become part of the, if I can drag it down. So blue is indicated by order south, orange is order central, green, and this pink or magenta is order east. So these are the 4 different files and 4 different color icons, just for the better understanding and better categorization. So this is just another way by which you can also import. And as you can see, we have created the 4 different steps, right? 4 different input steps with which we can further join, aggregate, transform, clean, create new calculated field. All of that we can do afterwards once we have got the data inside it. So that's about what I wanted to show you as a first video, because input step is, as you can see, is pretty huge, and probably it has given you all the necessary ideas related to how you can import the data, either using straight option like single table or the wildcard, or directly dragging it inside, and how you can apply the filter, do the sampling of data, and so on and so forth. So that's about it, and I will meet you in the next video with a new topic. Hi there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video we will going to look at some of the interesting thing which we can observe from the input step. So if you remember from the previous video, we have imported the 4 different files for 4 different regions, which is south, central, west and east. and their respective information is coming over here related to the fields. So the field name, original field name, if any changes like filtering or anything that we have done, and their sample values. So this provide a lot of input in terms of the values that we are importing. And as I've mentioned in the previous video, we can uncheck any of the column if we don't want it to be a part of our final data. But if we look at the order central over here, the data set that we have imported, we will see that we have some values like order year, order month, order date, ship year, ship month, ship days. So it's basically an entire date and bifurcated into their respective year, month and day. Whereas if we look at, for example, order south, you will see that order date is one column and ship date is one column. So that's the kind of problem that you will see in your data set once you will get the data from different sources, or for different regions, or maybe for different years. You will see that one or the other column is it's a bit haywired, and you need to do some processing to properly put the data in the right format. Also, one other thing which we can notice over here is related to country, city, state, but there is no field as a region, whereas as compared to the south, over here, if we click over here, we will see that a region field is present over here. But in case of the central, we do not have the region field. We have country, city, state, and if we go down, we don't have the region field. So that's one thing that we can observe by comparing the fields of two different sets, and this comparison and understanding helps us how we need to process the data. And if we go to order west, we see that down there we have region. So that's good. There is ship date, order date, ship mode, looks like in sync with the most of the data sets. But if you come down, I just noticed that you have these fields, which is right row ID, right order date, and a lot of fields which has been duplicated with the right. And down there you have also the state, but this state value is not similar to the state values which is present in the other sheets. So it has just abbreviated column with the name AZ. I think it's for Arizona if I'm not wrong. But if you look at, let's say, central over here, this is properly the full name of the taxes, but not the abbreviated 2 words letter over here. So probably we may need to do some processing in this case and make it as per our needs. But this particular problem, like these right field, probably not very useful if you look at, because we already have all the related fields over here and looks like a duplicacy. So we can uncheck this and we will make sure that they are not part of the data set. So if I uncheck everything over here which is related to right, as a prefix, so in just few minutes I will make sure that I have only the relevant fields. So all the fields which is right has been removed, and you can see the remove field icon is coming over here, making us sure that this will not be included. If we look at order east, we see that category, city, country, we have discount, I think region is present, profit is present, ship date, and I guess order date was also, order date is also present. But if I look at the values, I see that for sales you have a prefix of USD, whereas if I look at, let's say, west, and in west if I look at sales, it does not have as a prefix of USD. Similarly, if I look at central, it does not have USD as a prefix. Coming back here, trying to look at sales, where is sales? Yeah, so it does not have. It's only order east which is having USD. So we may need to do some processing over here to make sure that this is not becoming a part of our data set. And these are just very high level information that I could gather by looking at the data set. Or you can, if you are a data expert, or if somebody is a data expert in your team, they can do the comparison over here and make sure that all things at a high level that you need to do. But as and when we will move forward, we will see more and more issues, more and more things that we need to do. For example, things like creating a new field altogether, or splitting a field, or joining a field. All of that we will see in action once we move ahead. So that's a very high level understanding I wanted to give you related to the input steps and the things that you can look at once you are importing the data. So that's about it. And yeah, that's I have for this video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Hi there, welcome back to the next video. And in this video, we will start cleaning up our data so that it is ready for our analysis. And we will see step by step how we can do that. So first, what we're going to do is look at the order central and click over here on the plus icon. And we will going to click on add step. So once we click on the add step, you will observe that this workspace has been changed now, and it is showing you a lot of different information. And mostly what it is showing you is basically the distribution of data. So for example, in row ID, not that much relevant, but showing you a distribution. Similarly, the order ID, a distribution is over here, and from this also you can clearly see that what sort of distribution that is available. But things which is more relevant is in the ship mode, where it is clearly highlighted that standard class is the one where most of the orders are coming. Similarly, customer ID, this and this is basically seems like most repeated customer. And customer name, we can see the distribution of customer name as well, as it has been highlighted in gray. Similarly, in segment, you have consumer. So that's basically a distribution that is present to us. And not only this, you have things like filter values also over here, and another option like create calculated field. And there are some recommendations like country change, data role to country region, to city, to state province, and zip postal code. So based on the geographic value, it is giving you the recommendation. You can also search the field. If you have, let's say, hundreds of columns, you can search the fields as well. So once you click on these or once you add the cleans tab, all of this information is present to you. And you have this similar, not that similar like Tableau, because in Tableau you have a data table, but in this case you have this distribution of data along with the similar sort of icon, like you can click over here and change the data type. You can double click on this and you can change the name of the column, and over here you can sort, and you have these three ellipses, more options for further cleaning of data that we will see it in action. Also, if your flow is pretty big and you don't want to show this information, let's say later part in this stage of data cleaning, you can always click on this icon, and this will give you the entire space for looking at the flow. And you can also again click back over here like this, and then the information will be with you for all the different columns that are present. Now let's look at some of the cleaning steps. So if you remember, one of the things which is missing from here is the region field. So you have country, city, state, postal code, but what you don't have is the region field. So what we can do is we can create a calculated field, call it region, to be inconsistent with the other data sets that we have, and within double quotes we will say central, and close this and click apply and save. So what we have applied is central, and you will see that central is reflected even over here as well. So what it has is basically, you can think it as a change log, which basically log all of your changes that you are doing within this data set. So let's say later in the stage of development, maybe after a week, 2 week or a month, you want to review all the changes, or you want to show all of the changes that has been done on the data, maybe to other developer, because they may want to reuse your data. You can simply take this change log and walk them through, as well as for you also. If once you are done with the development, most of the time it happens that you are forgetting what you have done. So this change log can become really handy, and you can see what are all the changes that you have done. So the very first change that we have done is we have added the calculated field, and now at least our data set inconsistent with the other data sets. And next thing I remember, if I go towards right and just check if this was part of this particular data set, is so order year, order month, order day. Similarly, ship year, ship month, and ship day. So what we want is we want to combine these two fields into one single field, which is order date and ship date, which is inconsistent with the other data set. So what we need to do again is create a calculated field. We will say order date, and then come over here, use the function which is make date, first mention order year, then order month, and then order day, which, as you can see, the format of the date is first you need to specify year, then month, then day. So once we have this, we will click on apply, and we will click on save. So our order, so this change has been logged over here, as you can see, along with the function, and we can see the order date maybe far left, over here. So one thing also to notice is whatever field, the new field that you will add, will have an icon like this, which is a calculated field icon, and it will be on the extreme left or at the start of the dataset fields. So this way you can locate them easily. So first we created region, it came here. Then we created order date, and it came here. Now let's go ahead and create the ship date field as well with the same syntax, and just repeating the process, and you can repeat with me. Ship month, ship day. All right, click apply and save. So now we have order date, we have ship date. Okay, and all of these three logs, that first we did the addition of region, then we added the calculated field for making the order date, and then we added the field for adding the ship date. As we have the order date and ship date field already created, we now don't need the other order field. So if I just search with the order, you see that we have created the order date, but now we don't need order year, order month, and order day. So what we can do is come over here and just click on remove. Come over here, click on remove. Come over here, click on remove, right? So this way, this will not be part of the data set. However, in the backend data, it is available, and that is why you are able to see the order date. So order date is basically using these three fields to make the date. But since all of the information is present here, we don't need it in the front-end dataset. So don't think that we have removed it from the original dataset. It's always a part of original dataset once we have imported it into the data over here. So once we are done with this, we can do the similar thing with the ship. So ship date we already created, and we have ship year. We will just go ahead and click on remove. Come over here and click on remove. Come over here and click on remove. So now all of these logs have been generated based on the operation that we have performed, and that's really nice thing which I love about it. And one more thing which I will just highlight to you and that you can do for a better understanding. So as I said that this basically represent the data distribution, right? But in case of year, it seems like it has summarized the data, and that is basically the option which is present here in the more options, where a summary, you can have a state by summary or by detail. So if you can click on detail, and this will present a beautiful detail by each date, what was the order or what was the order value that was present. So if you are really interested in looking at the detail information, you can come over here in the more options and you can click on the detail option, and this way it will become pretty handy. So in case of dates it makes sense, but in case of ship mode or things like segment, it makes sense that it should be a summary, right? So we are pretty much there, and one last thing, maybe the second last thing, what we can do over here is what I noticed is basically the discount. As you can see, it is a numeric value, but it's highlighted as string. Also, wherever the discount is not given, it says none. However, it should say 0. So what you can do is double click on this, right, and just change it to 0. That's how easy it is in Tableau that or in this Tableau Prep builders, that all those values where it was none in all those rows, it will be replaced with 0, right? And now I'll just come over here and change it to number decimal. So this is the another change which I wanted to show you, that how you can replace the value. And finally what we can do is change the name of this tab is fixing order date. So based on all the steps that you have done, is you can mention it, or you can say fixing dates and discount, something like at a summary level. So this way you will see that all the changes that you have done is mostly it is covering, or you can say fixing dates, discount and region field. So that's pretty much it what I wanted to show you in this first cleaning video. We have I have a couple of videos for rest of the issues that we have discussed in the previous video, and I'll show you step by step how you can do that. So that's about it for this video, and I'll meet you in the next video with a new topic. Hi there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video we will look at the other data sets for cleaning. And if I remember, one of the easiest one is the order east, where I believe the only issue was related to the sales. And if I look at ship date or any other field like order date, so it's good. And I think even the state was fine, which was, and I think region column is also present, which we saw as the issue in one of the data sets like order central. So cleaning this should be relatively straightforward. I'll show you some of the options where you can clean this data. So first of all, we can click on this plus icon and click on add step. Once we add the step, again you will see the data distribution is coming based on what we saw earlier. When I showed you order date, you can always come over here in more options and click on detail to see the better distribution of the data. That's what I covered in the previous video, so again showed you. And this is a pretty nice distribution. As you can see that mostly the product within the bin of 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 is being sold. You can always click on this and you will see the relative information. As you can see, it's blue, and everywhere the value which is related to this will be highlighted in blue, and this gives us some good indication, like in segment consumer is sort of leading it, and similar related information is present in each and every field. So I'll just come back and uncheck that, and which was here. So this is just to give you some idea about how powerful the new tool is. And yeah, so what we had is sales, and the issue is with the USD option. And what we can do here is we can come over here, click on the more options, and in the more options we have this tab clean, and within the clean tab we can remove letters. This is the one which we need to use to remove the USD, and as you can see, it's so easy and surprisingly flexible, the tool that they have created, by looking at the general issues that we face, that removing the letter, or from an alphanumeric string removing the numbers. So they have created the backend algorithm for that, and they means the developers. So all thanks to them that the data cleaning has become really easy. And the one last thing which I will probably do is changing the data type to number decimal, and this way I have the different representation, which is making sense. So that's about cleaning up the order underscore east. Now let's take a stab at order underscore west. So in order underscore west, one thing we had already done is removing these fields from the right. So it's one of the cleaning step. And one issue is that you have AZ as Arizona, or the name is abbreviated as a short form for state, in comparison with the other data set where you have the full name. So let's see how we can improve it. So I'll just click on this tab, which is add step. Alright, so we have the same distribution information over here as well. Now let's go to state. I think it should be at the end. Yeah. So over here we need to change this information, and this is a very handy list. As you can see, it's been grouped by their respective state name. So the option that we have is in this more options, group and replace, and in this you have the option, I'll just click over here, which is manual selection. So once we double click on this Arizona, I just double clicked and I will say Arizona, right? So this is how I need to step by step go in and do it. So CA is California. CO, I'm double clicking it, and it's Colorado. I hope I'm writing the spelling correct. And I am just checking my list, and nope, Colorado. This should be right. And then Idaho, Montana. All right. New Mexico, Nevada, and then Oregon, Utah, Washington, and finally Wyoming. I hope I am pronouncing it correctly. So now all of this operation that we have done is completed, and the values been mapped with their respective numeric values. And once we are pretty much done, then we can click over here and say we are done. So let's click on done, and we are having a much better information, which we can see that is inconsistent with my other files that I have. Alright, so we have achieved a lot. So now what we'll do is we'll just save this, and we will say the orders underscore region underscore flow, and this is the .tfl extension that it creates, that is Tableau flow. So now this file is being saved and whatever work we have done is there. If you want to review, we can always click on each of the clean step and make sure that we have the values properly listed over there. We changed the order west and cleaning state names. Let's give it a proper name. And for order east, we cleaned sales value. All right, so with that, that's pretty much it what I have for you in this video for cleaning these steps, and I will meet you in the next video with the new functionality of this Tableau Prep. Hello there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video I will going to share the union or combination or combining the data set. So far we have cleaned the different data sets, and now I will show you how you can make a union or combine all of these data sets. So to do this, it's very easy. It's again a drag and drop, the unique part of Tableau and the Tableau Prep Builder. So to combine first of all these two data sets, what I need to do is I just need to drag it over on the union. As you can see, as I am hovering or dragging it over this particular cleaning step, I have two options. Either I can join or I can union, right? So because I need to combine these two data sets, I need to click on, or I need to put it on the union. Union is highlighted in orange, as you can see, right? So I'm just leaving it over here, and now a union step has been created. Now what I need to do is I need to pick the order central and drag it over here. Now the catch is that I just need to drag it over here on the existing union step, not on the new union, which is it is showing over here, because it will create a new step for me. So make sure that based on how you need to clean the data or combine the data, you drag the step accordingly. So since I need to combine it with the existing union step, I will drag it over here, which is the add part. So it is now combined, right? And finally, I have order south. Since there is no cleaning step, I will just simply add it again. As you can see, I'm not putting it over the union or join, simply dragging it over the add step. And now this has been added, and as you can see, earlier the value was here, but it's been dragged to here to match up with all the cleaning steps and then the union step over here. Once we have done that, you can see over here, so that setting column has been created, and along with that changes. So setting is indicating you that all the different tables which has been joined together as an input. Resulting field, you have 5 mismatch field from 25 fields, and over here this is basically your mismatch field, which is discount, product name, file path, product, and discounts. So if I just uncheck that, this basically shows this information about the mismatch field, and along with that it has also created a new field which is table names. Again, very helpful in terms of we want to understand from where the rows are coming. Also over here you have the show only mismatch field, so you can check it over here, and whatever was shown over here is shown over here. And the mismatch is basically from the color coding we can clearly see is happening from the order central, and down there you have discounts and you have discount, right? So probably that is sort of a bit of a mismatch that is going on over here. Also, in case of if you see the product and product name, the value looks like same, it's just that the name is different. So what we can do over here is that we can merge this discount with this discount field. So what I'm doing is I have just selected this and dragging it over to this. Let me try it again. Yeah, drop to merge fields. So it's merged now, and it's not showing in the mismatch field. Similarly, I will drag it on the field, product field over the product name. And now the only field which is remaining is file path. So we will just leave it, but rest of the fields are now properly matching. And we can uncheck this and come over here with our cleaned data set, which is now combined as well. One last thing that you can do is renaming this, double clicking over here, and we can say all orders, or combining all orders, or all regions, whatever that makes more sense from the business perspective and understanding perspective. All regions, right? Since these are all the regions that we have combined into the union step over here, and it is showing you the further step for the further processing. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to show you for the union of different data sets into one single one. I hope you have got a good idea by now, and I'll meet you now in the next video. Hi there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video we will going to add one more file to it, which is related to the return of order, and there are some cleaning steps that we will going to take, as well as the step that is related to joining the data. So far we have already seen cleaning steps, and I'll show you some more steps related to the cleaning, and then finally we will add it to the regions, and we will see all it in action in this video, so stay tuned. So first of all, the option of adding a new file is present over here, add connection. I'll click over here. Since it is an Excel file, I'll just click on the Excel. I'll go to my desktop, and in that I will use the location, or I'll go to that location, which is return region or reason, return reason new. I'll click open. All right, so the file is open over here, and down there, if you see, if I just, for my view, if I just see that you have row ID, order date, order ID, product ID, subcategory, who is a manufacturer, product name, return reason, and notes. So some of the most important information that we have over here is the order ID, the product ID. We already have subcategory in our main data set. Maybe the order date can be the one, and return reason can be the one, because order ID and product ID will going to be used for connection or for joining the data, because we need to have some unique or some similar column values to join the data on. So we'll see how we can do that. So if I come down, even the notes shows some good information. So let's see what are all the fields we want. So probably we want notes, we want product return reason, we uncheck this, we uncheck manufacturer, we don't need subcategory, and even if I look at, we don't need order date, because order date is anyway present over there, and row ID is something not very useful for us. So I think these are the 4 fields that we would require for our data set. And over here we see that a lot of information is present over there, and we will see how we can clean this. And the return reason is a high level reason that it is defective. So to do that, for the cleaning of data, we will, let me just drag it down a little bit so that we can see all the flow, and we can click on this add step. Now the cleaning step is being added, and we see that order ID, product ID looks good. Return reason, defective, general, incorrect product, order incorrect product, shipped, no longer needed, product listed incorrectly. So these are good. Doesn't look like there is any problem. But if we just drag this, so one of the very first thing which I noticed in the very first line is that there is a space at the start. So that's one thing. Another thing is there is this name of the person, S. Kelly, E. Williams, L. Jenkins, that we may want to extract. And as per the data set, these are basically the name of the approvers who approved that rejection for the customer. So the first thing is removing the spaces. So I'll go to the options over here and then clean and trim spaces. So once I click over there, you will see that that space is gone, and you will not be having the space problem either on the right or on the left, so that this is creating an issue for us. Now afterwards, what we can do is we can split these two values to get the name of the approver. So to do that, again, I'll go into the more option, split value, and I'll just click on automatic split, because it looks like from the data set that a dash has been used, which the algorithm will detect. And I just clicked on that. And over here, now we have the values. If I just drag it to understand there is any value which is coming up as a along with the approver. So yeah, nothing is coming. So I think we are good. We can scan all of the values if you want, like this. Yeah, nothing is coming. But over here you see that the name is getting repeated. Like there is a capital C, then small c, then you have done one dot, you have two dot, you have slash, and so on and so forth. So there is this another cleaning step that we need to take care of. So to correct this, there is an interesting, by a default out of the box property that is in the group and replace, and it is common characters. So if I click over here on the common characters, you will see that C. Arnold is now 1, E. Williams is 1, F. Azad is 1, Lindsay, Clarence, and you can clearly see the names are not getting repeated. So if I just drag it a little bit up, these are all the values that we can see. And down there you are also having a dataset field, which was not visible up until now for some reasons, but now you can see the respective values as well. So this option is really helpful, the group and replace and common characters. Now we can click over here on done, and once we click on done, our settings been changed. All right, so finally we have made all the corrections, and what we can do is, as a last step, we can just come over here and remove this because we don't need it now. So we have this node split 1, we can change node split 2 to approver name, and we have something like notes split 1, we can say customer note or something which is meaningful as per your need, and we will rename this tab as cleaning notes, right? So that's about what you can do, and in the next video I'll show you how you can join the data and show you some of the properties related to joining the data. So stay tuned for that. Hi there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video we will going to add one more file to it, which is related to the return of order, and there are some cleaning steps that we will going to take, as well as the step that is related to joining the data. So far we have already seen cleaning steps, and I'll show you some more steps related to the cleaning, and then finally we will add it to the regions, and we will see all it in action in this video, so stay tuned. So first of all, the option of adding a new file is present over here, add connection. I'll click over here. Since it is an Excel file, I'll just click on the Excel. I'll go to my desktop, and in that I will use the location, or I'll go to that location, which is return region or reason, return reason new. I'll click open. All right, so the file is open over here, and down there, if you see, if I just, for my view, if I just see that you have row ID, order date, order ID, product ID, subcategory, who is a manufacturer, product name, return reason, and notes. So some of the most important information that we have over here is the order ID, the product ID. We already have subcategory in our main data set. Maybe the order date can be the one, and return reason is can be the one, because order ID and product ID will going to be used for connection or for joining the data. If because we need to have some unique or some similar column values to join the data on. So we'll see how we can do that. So if I come down, even the notes shows some good information. So let's see what are all the fields we want. So probably we want notes, we want product return reason, we uncheck this, we uncheck manufacturer, we don't need subcategory. And even if I look at, we don't need order date because order date is anyway present over there, and row ID is something not very useful for us. So I think these are the 4 fields that we would require for our data set. And over here we see that a lot of information is present over there, and we will see how we can clean this. And the return reason is a high level reason that it is defective. So to do that, for the cleaning of data, we will, let me just drag it down a little bit so that we can see all the flow, and we can click on this add step. Now the cleaning step has been added, and we see that order ID, product ID looks good. Return reason, defective, general, incorrect product, order incorrect product, shipped, no longer needed, product listed incorrectly. So these are good. Doesn't look like there is any problem. But if we just drag this, so one of the very first thing which I noticed in the very first line is that there is a space at the start. So that's one thing. Another thing is there is this name of the person as Kelly E. Williams L. Jenkins that we may want to extract. And as per the data set, these are basically the name of the approvers who approved that rejection for the customer. So the first thing is removing the spaces. So I'll go to the options over here and then clean and trim spaces. So once I click over there, you will see that that space is gone, and you will not be having the space problem either on the right or on the left, so that this is creating an issue for us. Now afterwards, what we can do is we can split these 2 values to get the name of the approver. So to do that, again I'll go into the more option, split value, and I'll just click on automatic split, because it looks like from the data set that a dash has been used, which the algorithm will detect, and I just clicked on that. And over here now we have the values. If I just drag it to understand there is any value which is coming up as a along with the approver. So yeah, nothing is coming. So I think we are good. We can scan all of the values if you want, like this. Yeah, nothing is coming. But over here you see that the name is getting repeated. Like there is a capital C, then small c, then you have done 1 dot, you have 2 dot, you have slash, and so on and so forth. So there is this another cleaning step that we need to take care of. So to correct this, there is an interesting by a default out of the box property that is in the group and replace, and it is common characters. So if I click over here on the common characters, you will see that C. Arnold is now 1, E. Williams is 1, F. Azad is 1, Lindsay, Clarence, and you can clearly see the names are not getting repeated. So if I just drag it a little bit up, these are all the values that we can see, and down there you are also having a dataset field which was not visible up until now for some reasons, but now you can see the respective values as well. So this option is really helpful. the group and replace and common characters. Now we can click over here on done, and once we click on done, our settings been changed. All right, so finally we have made all the corrections, and what we can do is, as a last step, we can just come over here and remove this because we don't need it now. So we have this node split 1, we can change node split 2 to approver name, and we have something like nodes split 1, we can say customer note or something which is meaningful as per your need, and we will rename this tab as cleaning notes, right? So that's about what you can do, and in the next video I'll show you how you can join the data and show you some of the properties related to joining the data. So stay tuned for that. Hi there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video we will going to look at joining the two data sets. So far we have seen we have looked at cleaning the data, joining using the union to combine the data set, and in this tab we have just added in the last video the returns new and cleaned up the nodes field, which is this customer node and approver name. So some operation we did related to the cleaning. And now let's go ahead and see how we can join the two columns. So you can see that once we drag this cleaning notes tab over here, you have option of joining, union and add. So we can come over here and click drag, put it on the join, and there are some changes, like for example you have this option enabled which is applied join clauses, giving you the information about on which column the join has been added, and the type of join that has been applied is inner join, and summary of results, mismatched values, included values over here, and excluded is almost like 13,662 values that has been excluded, and that is because the type of join that has been applied, it's inner join, and I'll show you in a minute how you can correct this. So join clause recommendation at the end is on the order ID, customer node and customer ID, and so on and so forth, but on order ID it makes sense. So you can click on this plus icon, and over there you will see that join is now added on not only on the product ID but also on the order ID, right? Because order ID is also present over there. Now if we want to correct the exclusion of the values, as I just applied the order ID, the excluded value count is increased from 13,600 to 15,600, and if I based on the requirements, what we want is basically all regions data and data only that is being returned. So that is basically your left join. So I'll just click over here, left join, and you will see that the shape over here is changed, and now the excluded value from all region is 0, but from the cleaning step is just 3, and the join result is 16,302. So it's like we have corrected the entire error that we wanted, from this step perspective, that all the data for all the regions along with the cleaning result, we should get it from there or from these two data sets. One other thing which you may be noticing is these red columns, or sorry, the red values, and this basically indicates the order IDs or the product IDs which does not have the corresponding return value, and which has the corresponding return value is highlighted here in the black as a normal value. So that's what it indicates. So now while the join step's been completed, you will see that if you go on the right hand side, you now have, like we have it earlier in the union step, like table names, we have file paths, and then we have product ID for cleaning notes and all regions. So what we can do is we can just click over here and add a step, which is a cleaning step, which will give us the final output out from this join one. And if you see the the customer node, approver name, table names, file path, and if I go towards till right, we will see the new column which has been created with the joins. So like order ID 1, product ID 1, right? So this is something which has been created with the when the join has been applied. And row ID is again, I don't think we really need it. We can remove that. And I'm just checking if there is anything else that we need to take care of. Also, if you are interested, not interested in scrolling, you can simply look at like order. So you have order ID 1, and if I say product, you have product ID and product ID 1. So this is something which I was looking into and trying to figure it out, which one to remove and which one not to remove. So if you look at product ID and product ID, you have some null values over here. So definitely coming from the return field. So we'll just go ahead and click on remove. Similarly, if I look at order, the order ID field over here. So this is like all the IDs, and this is the order ID with the null, and you have 251 values over here and 5000 values over here. So let's go ahead and remove this. All right, so once we are done, over here we have our data set with most of the values which are present. And one new value that we can create is with the help of, if I just, over here. So return reason. So if the return reason is null, then the order is not returned, and if it is if a value is present, then it is returned. So what we can create is the new returned question mark. If is null what? Return reason, then no, it is not returned, else yes. All right, so I think it is double quotation which is creating an issue. Let me change this to here, and there is one error, if missing and finally, and so we are good. Apply and save. So that must be on the left hand side, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, left. And there are so many products which have not been written, and there are few products like 621 rows or 621 orders that has been returned. So that's a new value that we have created here. And one last thing that we may do is just to create one more information column for us, is how many days it is taking to ship the order from the day when we received the order. So we can create a new calculated field, and we can give it a meaningful name like days to ship, and there is a function called datediff, and we want it with the number of days, so we will specify day. And like over here in the example, if we want month, we could have used month, but we want by days. And first is the start date, which is order date, the date we received the order, and end date is basically the ship date, the date on which we shipped it. Okay, and we will click save. And we again on the left hand side we have clearly 4 is coming out, 4 and 5 is coming out as 1, where on an average the days which is being taken to ship the order from the day it has been received. So you can look at it in where it is happening, and this is one of the criteria which can make your customer happy, if you can move this distribution from here to here. And that's the power of data that you have in the hand by looking at each one like just clicking on 4, and over here you can clearly see from which table it is. So order West is something which is contributing it, followed by office supplies, followed by the information, so on and so forth. So that is something for us to look at. So for now I'll just leave it as it is. And the final thing is to add the output once we are done with pretty much all of this information in terms of joining, processing, cleaning, and all of that thing, is taking the output so that we can further use it. And you also have the option, before I take the output step, is right clicking over here, and you can preview it in the desktop. So if I just click it over here, it is showing that flow is running, flow is completed in just 1 second, and the Tableau workbook is open, and I have all of my values over here, and now which I can save it to keep using it as I need. But since there will be new data which is coming like every day, every month, or based on the frequency that you have set, you may want to click and say add output, and you can come over here and say you want to save the output as a publish as a data source, or you want to save it to a location as a Tableau data extract dot hyper extension Tableau data extract dot TDE or comma separated values. So let's save it as .tde, and where I want to save it is something which I can specify over here. If I just drag it, so this shows the entire location where this particular file is going. So we can run the flow, and this will create an extract for us. So yes, we have done it, and we have created the entire flow with the TDE. So what I can do is I can just copy this, and in the window here run, we can see the name. The name is output, and output is present over here as a Tableau data extract, and we have created this. So that's all about how you can then join, clean, and we have looked at a lot of things in this particular tutorial, and finally took the data out as a Tableau data extract. And you have a couple of other options like XCSV or data extract.hyper extension, and you can run the flow, which will help you take the data out. And one last thing is .tde and .hyper is basically for the version which is beyond 10.5, and anything between 10 to 10.4 you have .tde. And if you don't want this, then you have always the option of .csv, which you can take it and you can use it in any version as per your needs. So that's about it. I hope you have found it useful, and I'll meet you in the next video, the new tutorial. Hi there, welcome back to the next video, and in this video I will going to show you the data interpreter functionality of Tableau Prep. So most of the times it happens that we don't get the data in the format that Tableau Prep can understand and translate into proper row and columns for the further analysis of data. And in scenarios like this, Tableau Prep can be real helpful. So what we can do is we can simply go ahead and let me try to connect with the data which is in the Microsoft Excel file, and the data set is FDI case study. If I double click on this, we have the data in two different sheets. One is the analytics question, that's the case study question that I prepared and posted earlier, but the real data is present over here. So what I can do is I can take this data and drag it on the screen, and as you can see, the data input step is created over here, and down there you have the information about the field name, original field name, and sample value. But if you see, something odd is happening over here where we don't have the field names, but the F1, F2, F3, some arbitrary field values or the field name values is what you get over here, and that is mainly because the data is not properly positioned in the sheet so that Tableau Prep can understand. And what I mean by that, let me show you here in the sheet itself. So if you see this sheet, this is the data that we are trying to import. The name of the tab is data tab. And over here, the first row is having the information about complete view of data. The second row is blank. Third row is show entries. Fourth row is basically search, and fifth row is basically the place where the data is starting. So over here you have then the data up until like row number 71 to be precise, but row 69 is where you have the data in all the rows and all the columns. So how we can properly import this data? As you can see right now, the information is not coming properly. So for that, what you can use is basically the data interpreter. You can check this box. So if I just click on this, I have checked the box. And what Tableau Prep has done in the backend, it has run its algorithm and identified where actually the data is present. And down there you will see that it has picked up the different field names and their respective values. So this way you can take the data inside where the data is not properly formatted, and once you have the data, you can add the step, which is a cleaning step, and then can further analyze the data that you have imported. But mainly I wanted to show you how you can use the data interpreter in scenarios like this so that you don't face any issue in getting these types of table, which I basically say the formatted tables. And these formatted tables sometimes is a pain when you are importing it, but thanks to data interpreter you don't have to do all that different processing as a manual processing in the Excel file, but Tableau Prep can take care of it. So that's about it, and I'll meet you in the new video. Hi there, welcome back to the next video. And in this video I will going to show you how you can create a long structure from the wide structure within Tableau Prep. So what that mean is, for example, if you see from the previous video that we imported one of the formatted table using the data interpreter, where Tableau data interpreter cleaned the data by looking at the title or some of the formatting options that was applied for a properly formatted report. But to read the data, it has excluded all of that and just considered the data which we want to analyze. But if you look at the structure of the data, you will see that it is a wide structure or sort of a pivot structure, where on the left hand side or the first column you have the sector information, and then for each year you have their respective values. Now Tableau works well when the data is in a long format instead of the wide format like this. In the wide format there is a lot of restrictions on what you can do, but in the long format you can perform more functionality, more visualization in an efficient and better way. So how we can convert it from a wide structure to long structure is basically by adding a pivot step. So this is like unpivoting it using the pivot step. So what we can do over here is after the cleaning step we can add the pivot step. So once we click on the pivot step, it will going to ask us what are all the columns that we will going to take the pivot into consideration. So all of these columns basically. So either I can drag one by one like this, or you had seen that there was a wildcard option. So what I can do is uncheck this and click on the wildcard, and over here we will say to 0, and if I just press enter, you will see all of the values which are coming over here. So once we have these values, you will see that a new column has been created with the name pivot1 and pivot1 values, and all of those rows which were all of these values which earlier were coming in a column is now has been converted into a long format, and which is a row. For each row you have a respective values for their respective sector, right? And now what we can do is we can just double click on this and we can call it year. And over here what we can do is we can simply go ahead and call it values, or whatever that particular value is, whether it is like the production value or some other value. And once we are done with this, we can see our data. If I just go ahead and click the clean another tab, you will see the year information, you will see the values information and sector information. Now up to you, if you want to further clean the data, for example splitting the values and all, you can go ahead and do that. But mainly I wanted to show you how you can unpivot the pivoted data and create a long structure on which Tableau can perform the analysis and visualization efficiently, and you can create a stunning dashboard. So that's about it in this video, and I'll meet you in the new video. Hi there, welcome back to the next video. And in this video I will going to show you how you can aggregate data within Tableau Prep. So aggregating data is a common step that we want to perform most of the times when analyzing the data. So in this video what we have already done in the past two videos is we have imported the data using the data interpreter, and then we have pivoted the data to create a long structure. Now let's say if we want that so for example here what you have is for each year for the respective sector you have some values, right? Now it can be production values or it can be some other values. I can't really recollect what the values were really referring to. I think that those were FDI value because it was a FDI case study. So that's a foreign direct investment in India that basically came into their respective sector and in the respective year. But what if we want that irrespective of sector, we just want to understand that what is the average FDI that came in the entire year. So what we can do is to create a structure like that, we can add the step over here, and the step will be the aggregate step. All right. So what we need to do over here, as you can see, we have two sections over here, the grouped fields, and the group fields is basically your dimension, and dimension is sector or year, and another field is aggregate, which is the numerical field, and it will be values. So to do that, first of all I can just double click on here. Let's say my question is, if I repeat myself, is what is the average FDI that we got in a respective years. So I just double click on that, and here is my year value. And if I want values, now what we want is average, but here what we have got is sum. So we can click over here, simply left click over there, and based on what we want as a measure we can choose. So we have average, median, count, distinct count, so on and so forth. So what we can take is average, right? And as I select the average, the aggregated field is coming over here, but as you can see the values are summarized and it is not coming respective to each of the year. So what you can do is come over here and click on detail, and now for each year you have the values that what is the average FDI that has come in the respective year. So for example in 2001 I think it was 68.37 is what we come. I think it should be in millions of dollars or maybe billions of dollars. I am not really pretty sure about what the value is, but what I want to show you is the respective value for each of the year that has come in as a part of FDI. So if you look at in the pivots tab, if I just click over there, you had around 1000 rows, 1088 to be precise, and when you moved to aggregated step, what you had is just the 17 rows. So think about this, that aggregate data, if you aggregate it to a right level for your analysis, it can really help you to save a lot of processing time as well as the faster response when you are showing it to your user. So whenever possible, and based on the dimensions and measures you need, try to aggregate as much as possible, and then use it as an extract out of it to start producing the dashboard. So that's about it I wanted to show you in this video, and I'll meet you in the next video.